And so, like we mentioned at the start, the gold division players in the tournament, they're fighting to hold on to their spots. They have nothing to gain, but if they lose, they drop down to silver. And so, Turnout8 entered the tournament in position by placing fifth out of six players in gold. Meanwhile, Tabsies is from Challenger Division, which is the division for newer players who joined the league while the regular season is underway. But newer players get very good very fast, and Thabsies narrowly earned second in Challenger after losing a tiebreaker match in an otherwise lossless season. And we already saw Thabsies take down one gold player last week, and now he's looking to do it a second time. So let's take a look at the picks and bans here.
All right. Yeah, I believe you have those, Tobo, yeah? Turnout starts banning library?
Turnout does indeed start by banning library. Tabsies, or Thabsies, I guess, responds by banning out modern. So the two real big maps immediately gone.
Yeah, I totally understand that. Yeah, Turnout an aggressive spy, and Tabsies doesn't want to give him the opportunity to zip around modern doing missions.
And it looks like we're starting things off old school. Turnout8 grabs courtyard, Thabsies picks up ballroom, and Turnout picks up balcony.
And then we go very, very new school, don't we?
We do indeed, as Thabsies grabs aquarium, and Turnout grabs Tayen. And Thabsies decides to round things out with a mid-range gallery.
I'm really excited to see what happens here. Because of the way the SEL set up, seniority is prioritized. People who've been in the league for a while are somewhat insulated against players who come in late and get good very, very quickly, except for this season's development, the tournament of position. So that means that you get these crazy matchups where players who maybe are a little more experienced but haven't played as much lately, which is what we saw from Turnout, I think it's fair to say, doesn't play as often as they used to, but has been around a really long time, versus Thabsies, who's playing constantly and getting good every single day. You always might wonder yourself, hypothetically, what would happen if those two collided? We're about to see.
Today, we find out as Turnout8 steps in to the spy side of Courtyard. Thabsies opening up the night on the sniper side in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
I mean, I legitimately have no idea because you don't know what the relative skill levels are here, and you don't know who's rusty, who's practiced. I would take a quote-unquote lesser player who's playing constantly for a month against a more experienced player who maybe hasn't played as much. That can matter a lot.
Bit of an unusually long AI control from Turnout8 to start the match, but not too long. Ooh, a nice little reverse drive-by bug attempt. Doesn't take, and it might have been caught a little bit as well.
I think so. It's not just an unusually long time to take control, it's an incredibly unusually long time to take control for Turnout, who loves to get missions done right away.
Well, almost got the bug, but unfortunately right-clicked a little bit too late. Now steps in the conversation at the seduction target for 34%, but that highlight is going to hurt.
It's absolutely huge, yeah, and the only thing I'm not expecting from Turnout in most of these games is fingerprint. They completed only 2% of the time, but unfortunately, it's one of the standard ways to finish on Courtyard when you want to avoid that hardtail conundrum we talk about.
Now stepping over to the double agent. And as people start to file into conversations, we start sending off that code word. The contact comes off. Should let off 2 hard lowlights. Neither of them have been grabbed yet.
And 2 really good soft ones, too, with Twin in general there in the other conversation. But Thabsies is not interested in it. I've seen a lot of Challenger snipers just not particularly interested in banana bread lowlights. They put way more of their focus on what people are doing rather than where they are.
And I think he was just waiting for an excuse to shoot Turnout for that reverse drive-by bug attempt at the beginning of the game. He finally gets tired of waiting and goes up 1-0.
Really straightforward. Turnout takes a while to take control, contra his normal style, but can't resist the reverse drive-by bug, and Thabsies is all over it. Even though he didn't have a great angle, it's a really good catch, and as you say, at that point, was clearly just looking for a reason.
Thabsies with a strong start, now stepping into the spy side of Courtyard. Let's see if he can get one by Turnout in a difficult position in 3, 2, 1, playing it. Opens up with a 34% flirt, and then a bug on the backside of it And Turnout8, I think, is either caught it or is very suspicious of it.
Yep, and we're going to know based on what happens next, certainly. Turnout could just say, possible bug, or that could be a huge, huge highlight, and they're just waiting for a reason. That's one of the tricky things as a caster. We don't really know which it is in this case, but we know that it's at least been considered as a possibility, at minimum, and probably more than that.
This could easily just wind up being a mirror of the last game. We will find out soon enough. As Tabsies takes an innocent drink and steps away to... I thought he was going to go flirt, but no, he's just chilling out the windows.
If we do statue highlights or a mix of highlights, it's entirely possible by the end of this game they might not have at the forefront of their mind why they highlight Tabsies in particular if they don't really do much else. But statue visits, BB, those are the big tests. Those are the crucibles.
Second flirt, 68%. 2 minutes to play. Especially with the hardtail done, that is plenty of time.
Yep, but we just have no idea if we are a moment away from dying at any point.
Now is the statue visit.
Turnout is keeping this on screen quite a bit. They are very interested in this character. I think at the very least, they recognize the threat here. Whether or not they're ready to shoot is another question, but they seemed very interested in Tabsies there. Kept them on screen pretty much the whole time.
The old guard tend to be the ones who are most willing to hold their shots for as long as possible. But that's 3 missions done, no contact yet, and I think Turnout is confident there's been no fingerprints as well.
That is generally true, but Turnout did struggle with Civ shots this season relative to Gold, unfortunately. Probably down to how good the spies are there.
Well, there's the contact. I don't think Tabsies will survive, and indeed he does not. Turnout takes the shot, and we're square at 1.
We've talked about this a lot. You can't always be sure of the mission count unless you're exceptional at it, or unless the thing that made you suspicious of them is at the very beginning of the game. If it's one of the first things you see, then you know they couldn't have rushed a whole bunch of things, a whole bunch of flirts, inspects, contact, whatever. You know they couldn't have rushed them already. So when that bug happens around 3 minutes, that means that Turnout gets to spend the rest of the game staring at this character, and that's how they can be that confident that missions weren't complete until just then. That's some pretty good old-timey discipline there, isn't it?
It very much is. And now, Turnout is back on the spy side of things. Let's see if he can display a little bit more of that old-timey discipline this time. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
I feel like that should be on some kind of tonic. Turnout8's old-timey tonic. Keeps you disciplined and fresh and vim and vigor.
Well, opening with the seduction target at statues. Picks up a green test for 51% on the flirt, but might only get the 1 inspect out of this.
Yeah, that's pretty rough. You're trading that. You're trading needing a second statue visit, potentially, for that early flirt. And I think that's just kind of an impulsive decision where if you thought about it a moment more, you'd think, I don't actually know if this is a good trade.
That was a red time head.
Yep, and there's a beep. And I'm not sure Tabsies noticed because they were zooming in on the ambassador and guest list just afterwards.
The beeps are very easy not to notice.
Yep, and
but
the
he'll probably notice when there's another beep in like 10 seconds.
Yes, but the question is, at that point, do you remember anything? If they didn't notice before, it's just free, and I think it might have been. It was kind of a strange time to do it, about 10 seconds into the game, I think it was.
I agree.
Or a little, sorry, 10 seconds after the statues.
Play.
Yeah. One thing that's underrated here, too, is, by the way, that all these venues had time added in the middle of the season, so a lot of us have had to get used to unusual beep timings. And if that's the case here, that could contribute to the confusion.
That is very true. Second flirt comes off up to 79%. Still tons of time on the clock, in conversation with a double agent as well. Lots of people talking.
Yeah, we need to go back to statues still, and that can actually work to our advantage if you go back to the same ones if there's a fingerprint on it or something, but nothing like that has happened yet.
Very, very nice contact. 1 hard low light, 2 soft ones available. The shot comes off, but it's not the right one, and Turnout picks up the first spy game on Courtyard.
Wheels was near the Ambassador early in the game. He had his back to him at around 3:05, and he maybe suspected the bug there at that point. It also could have been what we mentioned earlier about the timeout. In fact, there was a beep at 3 minutes exactly as Wheels checked his watch, too. So a lot of this stuff might have gotten kind of muddled together in the sniper's mind to produce that Civ shot. Whatever it was, Turnout gets the spy win.
It was still a little bit early for it, but sometimes that's just how it goes, as Tabsies now needs to spy to stay tied up. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And Turnout played a little slower and more deliberately there, and it paid off.
It did indeed.
Tabsies hoping the guy in the wheelchair will not get shot 2 games in a row, picking him this time.
Indeed. I don't think that's quite in range for an in-convo bug.
No, but
It's
it's begging for a BB split into it with a nice distraction or something. This is actually a pretty interesting position here. I'm not sure Turnout has a great angle on it.
Tabsies just bails on it and goes to flirt instead. Wasted a little bit of time early on, but not too much. White test on the first flirt leads us with 34%.
Turnout's sniper shot rate this season is actually low, below the FCL average, under 70%. So if you're trying to induce a shot, I don't know if this is the sniper you should try to do it against.
Well, able to pick up a fingerprint on the drink, so it doesn't look like we're trying to induce. We've got something to play with here. Early fingerprints are very useful on this map, and now, a good briefcase cancel.
Tabsies fingerprints about 30% of the time, which could be pretty powerful here. I like to say that snipers who fingerprint a lot look for fingerprint a lot. Well, Turnout, as I mentioned, fingerprints almost never. So does it also mean the inverse, that he's not likely to track fingerprint? We might be about to find out.
Green timeout at the windows and then heads right back in for another flirt. I think he knows things weren't lining up for him and he's low on time compared to where he'd like to be, so grabs the time ad and goes in for the second flirt for 68%.
Better now than later when the sniper's going to be looking for it. I like the timing of that. I like looking forward into the game and seeing that you're probably going to need it.
Exactly.
Anticipate.
The green test only makes it better.
Yeah, that helps a lot. There are a lot of snipers who will routinely punish you for white time ads, but very, very rarely reliably catch greens. And I think that might be the case here.
Well, Tabsies could now go pick up his second fingerprint and his statue visit all at once.
It's going to be hard to resist.
Do you want to resist? Well, now it's going to be a difficult test because... Oh, no! Not quite in range. It's 99% on the flirt. And with 1:15 to play, that could be difficult moving forward. That could be a problem.
Yeah, it
Contact
could, but
comes off.
the fact that you need to go to statues anyway, need to go get the fingerprint anyway, it's kind of the saving grace there because you have something that naturally needs to break it up. But yeah, it'd be nice to be done with it already, to say the least. But I don't think this is too likely to hurt them. It's going to come down to other things, probably.
I think you're probably right, but we got a difficult fingerprint to try to hit, and we do not. 50 seconds to play.
That's huge. That's absolutely huge. They'd be a talk away from the win otherwise. Turns out it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Turnout is on top of things.
Wow, crediting potentially the difficult or not realizing it was smudged, and even though they don't fingerprint much, they know a fingerprint when they see it. They know a spy when they see them. Turnout8, the old guard, up 3-1 on Courtyard.
It could very easily have been just not realizing it was smudged because it was an SDA that went there.
Yeah, absolutely. That's totally viable. And that's part of it, right? Is sometimes the sniper doesn't notice something and it helps you. Sometimes they don't notice something and it hurts you. Sometimes you would win against a sniper who noticed more, paradoxically. That's why this game's so crazy and so good.
And now we step in to Ballroom. Turnout up 3-1. And on the spy side, as Tabsies tries to make a comeback in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And it was tempting, and still is, frankly, to think that maybe Tabsies can hang here because I mentioned of the seniority promotes, Turnout maybe had a little struggled in gold a little bit, maybe more comfortable in silver, hard to say because these are getting very competitive. Easy to say maybe Tabsies is on the way up and can hang with them, but Turnout's got a few tricks left, it looks like.
And then he won the first game, too.
Yeah, it's 3 in a row for Turnout. You cannot let up on these old-timers. We've got SpyParty in our bones, man. Even when we're not that good, we have. I find the more experienced players have a better floor of quality of play, even if the ceiling can be just as high for a new player.
Pulls out a blue book and immediately goes to contact, interestingly enough. Lets off 4 lowlights.
And this looks like a Turnout game to me. This is walk in, talk, stop talk, leave, go flirt at windows. We don't get it in time, of course. Look at, oh no, it's a red, actually.
Yeah, red flirt. Not something you usually see.
Yeah, at windows, no less. They say, aren't the stars beautiful? Hey, where are you going? And we're hanging on to this blue book so long that I just cannot imagine it's going to end up in blue.
Oh no, this is absolutely setting up for a transfer. It's just a matter of how long we wait. Well, now that the seduction target's there, I think the time has come.
Can you resist doing both? Oh, the ambassador's taking your spot. I would not want to cram into here.
No, I wouldn't either.
ST could leave at any moment, too. I think the moment has passed.
The ambassador had held on to it just a moment longer. We might have had a chance at a difficult fingerprint if we wanted to do some shenaniganry. But Turnout8 just adds some time, does a weird briefcase cancel.
But Tabsies was zoomed in on the guest list as Kane took it while the timeout was happening, so I think they might have gotten away with this.
Nope! No, he did not!
Well, now with the microphone.
Tabsies takes the shot and gets ready to start this comeback.
I'd be curious to know whether or not it's the timeout or the microfilm. They definitely seem to be on the microfilm, too, and they can maybe infer who was coming from that direction. They obviously know Kane didn't do it because they were already looking at them. But whatever it was, that standard plan of take out the book, do a whole bunch of things, and then dump it, not going to work.
Not this time, at least. Tabsies on the spy side of Ballroom has a chance to tie things up at 3. Turnout looking to maintain the lead from the sniper side in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Tabsy seems really determined to get that flirt off, bouncing around in the time of chaos to make sure they get it, and they do get to 49. Don't worry, Tobo, we're good.
Yep, 49 is still definitely in range for the 2 flirt if you can get closer on the second one. As long as we don't timer flirt. We're going to timer flirt, aren't we, Track?
You can't timer flirt on 49%. You just can't do it.
Not when you know you're getting cast, at least. Okay.
No. Okay, good. And even if you get the floating point help, you're still going to go to 99, and then my fellow co-caster will be sad.
Yes, very much so. 99 hurts even more than 98 does.
I'd say exponentially more. It's not linear, the hurt.
No, it's really not.
The seduction target gets low lit, so there's that.
Went for a difficult fingerprint on the drink, was not able to hit it. Not able to hit the green flirt either, to wind up at 83.
Yeah, and now we're in a little bit of trouble. If we had that fingerprint, this game looks entirely different. That's how crazy this is with 2 minutes left. If you hit that fingerprint, your options are basically tripled. And now, instead, you're behind the 8 ball. You need one more flirt. And it looks like you're going to try to timer flirt again here, or rather wait again. I don't think you can do this. I think you have to get something else done in the meantime.
Yeah, I think with 2 minutes left to play and no completions yet, no progress other than the flirt, we just don't have time to do this. Go to center statues and come back or something.
Something. This is very
progress.
Yeah, this character's very good at bugging, even though the ambassador's not in a great position. Turnout seems particularly concerned about the ambassador vulnerability here. They've zoomed in on them a couple times with Buns on the other side, actually in the same position as the bug from the previous match, sort of.
Well, we do take the timer flirt, but we only have 1 minute and 30 left.
Is there still a print on this drink, too?
Fake contact, interestingly enough.
Into what, though? Are we trying to frame a specific person, or are we doing this into something?
Well, we've gotten that low light, but
into
can
low
we
light.
Make use of it?
And, well, so here's the question. Depending on why we did that fake, we may or may not guess we have a low light. That's the thing.
Well, green purloin after the fact, so we might have some idea. 1 minute left to play. You still need 2 missions after this Purloin comes off.
Green
Contact is still available.
Yep, Green Purloin as a lowlight on Ballroom. Good luck with that. Can they actually get bumped back up? Turnout did zoom in on the spy there for a second, but I wonder if it was coincidental.
I don't know if I like side statues. I feel like this is taking too much time unless we're going to go for inspect swap at the end of things. 30 seconds to play. Is this going to be a time ad? I think it might be.
Well, how do you avoid shooting with that Purloin showing? Turnout is going to have a hard time of it. They have to think about it. They're thinking about it.
They're thinking about it indeed. 15 seconds. There's no way we're getting our missions done in time, even with this swap. Goes for the swap first, in fact. Goes up to highlight. It's going to be overtime, but he doesn't let it happen. Just takes the shot, too convinced that it was a white test, and indeed it was. And Turnout, in a game that looked lost, pulls it back 4-2.
Tabsies had a good game plan, but what they did after that was incoherent, because I like the fact that after the fake, fishing for the lowlight, which worked, you behave as if you're lowlit. That's the whole point of that move, is to assume it's going to work, otherwise what are you even doing, right? So they do that with the Green Purloin, makes sense. But then they avoid things like a simple clean bug, which you're almost always going to get away with as a lowlight there. They
or
avoid
a center statue visit. They went the side statues.
Or center statue visit, or all that. Are you playing like you have a lowlight or not? In this case, they sort of did it first, then they sort of hesitated and did riskier things. A white swap is one of the few things that's still going to get you killed there. I think, absolutely, I like the game plan. I like that it worked, but I think at some point they stopped behaving as if they were a lowlight, and it cost them a very winnable game that they really needed.
Yeah. The plan worked out, but they couldn't convert, and now Turnout is up 4-2, stepping into the spy side of Ballroom in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And by the way, interesting that Turnout now, twice this season, we've seen them highlight or lowlight at the end of a game during Mission Win Countdown, and we've assumed that the game is over, and then they take the shot anyway. After thinking about it. That happened in that Wodar game. We saw them take lowlights, and we figured, well, they're not going to shoot. They lowlit 4 or 5 people, then shot anyway. That's what happened there. They highlit the spy, and we figure, well, maybe they got away with it, but highlights and then shoot. It's almost like the highlights and lowlights are reflexive, and then they actually consider whether or not to shoot. Very unusual.
Time ad coming out of Turnout early in the game, now stepping in for the seduction. It's a white test for 34%.
What I really want to see is Turnout actually going to use that time, or are they going to rush anyway? Turnout and Virifo back in the day were the kings of time ad and then rush anyway. Don't even use the time.
Yeah, this is very true. Miscasting Virifo, that was always an adventure.
Yeah, it's particularly rough here, by the way, with Tabsies, because they burned Turnout for the low light, but didn't get the win. So can you rely on that again going forward?
This is true. And it looks like Turnout is just going to hang around next to the seduction target and use the time ad for a timer flirt.
Well, that's a perfectly good use of it.
I think so.
I admire it. There we go.
There's the cooldown, there's the flirt, there's the white test to 68%.
And I don't know what Turnout's going to do, but I know he's going to do something. And probably a lot of somethings.
This is very true. Not the best briefcase cancel.
No, we stood up for too long after that. We did not immediately stand up and walk away, which is what you need to do there. I don't know if it's visible or not, and I don't know if Tabsies in a position to punish them for it, but I know a lot of snipers in gold and above who would.
Went for the double agent, but the double agent bailed. Now we're in a conversation by ourselves, trying to figure out where to go next.
And a reminder again that, like I said for the last match, the top seed wins. That is Turnout by some margin. They only need 4 more here, which is why Tabsies cannot afford to let up another spy win.
There's the flirt done. Just under 2 minutes to play now. In conversation with the double agent. This has been a very slow start from Turnout.
Yeah, but they had 45 extra seconds to play with, and if they contact right here, they're going to have 2 missions done and plenty of options still.
Double agent bails on us, though. So we're going to have to find something else to do, or chase.
Well, if it's Turnout, it's usually Bug, relative to the other missions at least. They bug more than they inspect, as a matter of fact.
Good gravy. Well, I guess inspects are surprisingly dangerous. Double Agent comes back in to say hi. Lots of movement, though. Might need to wait a bit before picking up the contact.
Are we sure this is a Turnout8 game? Did you guys switch this on me or something? I'm impressed. I'm impressed.
Mind games.
I have played Turnout for years off and on, and they have one of the most consistent styles of any of the old timers, really. And they are not playing the way they normally play right now.
Well, here comes the contact as people start to file into conversations. There's the contact. I expect a purloin here. I didn't get it.
I think they actually couldn't at that point, because here's the thing. Toby was offering as they started it, and it was a white test, and I had to wait through the whole animation. That long white test BB that's supposed to cover for the purloin, that's so dangerous because the guest list is hanging out near you for so long when that happens. I think a green is totally different, but the white, I wouldn't.
That is true. 30 seconds to play and still 2 missions to get. Here's the bug. It takes. It's good. Was it seen? Oh no, he misses the pad!
Brutal.
He misses the pad, and Tabsies saw one or the other, takes the shot, and keeps himself within 1.
I don't know how bad I would feel, because I think there's a decent chance they were going to shoot anyway. This all happened within a few seconds, and the laser was on them the whole time, so I think they were just banking on it at that point. I don't imagine they were going to get away with inspects there. They left it all for too late. I like that they're playing a little differently. I really think they need to hit that green BB or BB earlier into a purloin, and it might have worked pretty well because the party was not narrowed down enough, but instead they make it really, really easy on them.
They do indeed, and Tabsies once again has a chance to tie things up at the end of Ballroom from the spy side. Turnout on the sniper once again looking to maintain the lead in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Turnout's going to be fine with a tie, but you'd rather have a lead going into the end, have a little bit of margin. This is too close for comfort against a challenger you don't know very well.
Early flirt for 33% and immediately walks away from it.
Well, Turnout8 is not going to burn you for this, frankly.
No,
so
absolutely not. This is a fast start from Tabsies.
Yeah, I like it. It's the right choice. Tabsies actually one of the handful of challengers that complete Seduce at a very high rate. High for anyone, not just high for challengers. 71% of the time. That is very high, just period. And for challengers in general, for the lower divisions, it's really, really high. And
well,
you can see why.
Back into flirt again, up to 67 now, and in range to just wait it out and pick up a timer on the last one.
And Tabsies, by the way, completes inspects at a crazy low rate. They like to deny people those rote statue highlight advantages that they get late in games, and that might be particularly important against someone like Turnout, because in my experience, a lot of the older snipers have that in their muscle memory, in their bones more, for those statue highlights. That's been around for a really long time, and it's a crutch for a lot of people, both for good and for ill here, really. So if Tabsies can avoid statues, that could be really powerful in the end game against Turnout.
There's the timer flirt coming off. Seduce is done very early on, still over 2 minutes to play. And now steps into an innocent conversation, though a full one.
What's the plan? What are we doing? There's a lot of time ticking off here, and there doesn't seem to be any use for it yet, unless you're fishing for another low light, and I just don't think that's going to work. A, it already burned them once, and B, you're not really idling the same way.
A powerful fake contact. That's off 2 lowlights, one of whom was highlight, but
bug attempt too that does not take.
Amount of misdirection.
Yeah, bug attempt does not take and decides not to go for another, but Turnout was looking elsewhere, and there was so much occlusion that I think they could have just crash bugged even, and it might not have been seen.
I think you're right, but no one likes to crash bug unless you're on library. Here comes the purloin. It's a white test, though. I don't think Turnout's looking for it.
No, he doesn't see it yet, and it was offered to ponytailed statues. Still doesn't see it. Still not even looking. Not even looking.
That's a completely free hard tell.
I think this is clean, and I think he's going to have to shoot someone, and I don't think it's going to be the spy because they haven't done anything yet in the sniper's mind.
Green timeout off the back of it. That time ad might be able to save Turnout here, but it's going to be real hard.
Especially with Ponytail at Windows now. If they're just noticing it now with the green, that's another failed bug attempt, but Turnout really seems to be looking elsewhere right now. There, they just looked at the guest list and low-lit Taff for taking a drink.
Oh no, I think that's the only information they're going to get off of that guest list. 3 lowlights total right now.
And now I don't know
1
if
minute to
Tabsies...
play.
I don't know if Tabsies has to finish now. Turnout looks lost. I don't think they have any idea what's going on here. Late center statue visit from Teal, that might be enough. Any activity from earlier statue visitors might be enough. You just have to be so paranoid at this point.
Tabsies probably doesn't know, though. Still only 2 mission completions. Again, the Ambassador is too far away for that bug to take.
Oh,
That's
for
3 times.
3 times, all in the same spot, I think.
All in that same spot, picking up a fingerprint off the briefcase, but we still need another one and another mission on top of it.
But the Ambassador just took a drink. Here's your chance. Here's your chance. You still don't have a real contact, too. Can you get a drink and the BB at the same time? Will the double agent even make it possible coming into conversation? No.
Not going for the drink here.
Another time ad.
10 seconds. It's going to be another time ad. Tabsies just not willing to make any moves here.
And Turnout hasn't shot somehow.
It's White! It's White! Now he knows! He was zooming in on Alice. He was about to take a shot. Now he knows it's not Alice.
Wow, he was almost definitely going to shoot there. He was thinking about it, but the lack of the beeps vanishing saves it, and his top suspect becomes a lowlight. Disastrous.
Disastrous indeed. Tabsies just taking too much time, and it is biting him very badly. Another shot goes the other way, and somehow Tabsies, after all that, is still able to take it.
Walt was at Windows around the time ad happened and already had a highlight. That was all it was. I mentioned Turnout seemed lost, and he was. He was saved by that time ad. But at that point, he was so paranoid, he had it down to maybe 2, I think, with Sorry and Walt went back to statues otherwise. That's the difference. And Walt had the highlight. Tabsies' penchant for avoiding inspects, I think, might have been their saving grace there.
Man, they checked their watches at the exact same moment as well.
That's bad luck. That's rough for Turnout. He held his shot very, very impressively. Tabsies probably really frustrated with that. You needed the AI to do something like that, and then you needed them to do one more thing. And they did.
Well, now it's 4-4 as Turnout8 steps into the spy side of balcony. 4-4 means it's still in Turnout's favor because of the seating advantage, but not by much. Let's see if he can give himself a bit of a cushion. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Turnout's balcony spy has been really good this year, but their sniper has been equally as bad as their spy has been good. They've really struggled on the sniper side. So I would even dare to say they might really need this spy win because their odds of them winning the sniper game based on their previous performance this season, pretty low.
Doesn't want to be seen anywhere near the Ambassador, even with a drink in hand there. Goes to the window, picks up a flirt for 34%, synchronized drinking going on.
Yeah, Walt again. Yeah, Walt and Sorry, match made in heaven. Taking a bullet for each other, that's dedication right there.
It sure is. Although Walt does a very short-range little briefcase return there.
Gonna need a green here if you want a 3 flirt later, potentially.
Yep, a little bit of a distance here is not necessarily what you want to see, but it's often unavoidable on balcony. Red test is not a green test.
And this is not the first red test we've seen tonight. We've seen some AT issues, to say the least.
We certainly have.
Mostly on flirts, I think, too. There have been a lot of flirts that have resulted in red, strangely.
Under 45 seconds now. Finally, everyone's in the conversation. And then as soon as I say that, 2 people step away. We're going to need to hit this contact at some point. Now hitting a green test on the flirt up to 59%, but it's still not enough.
We're going to need another green test just to finish the flirt. We have no BB, and that path makes no sense. Was that a briefcase redirect? If it is, it's good, but boy, I don't know. That looked wonky.
20 seconds. Selection target steps away. We still don't have the cooldown. It's a long distance. It's got to be green, and we still don't have the contact.
You need to BB first and hope a shot comes off, but it's too late. It's under 10
There's
seconds.
The contact. It's not green, and there's no reason for Tabsies to take a shot now. He was ready for it, but there was no need, and now, suddenly, Tabsies has found himself in the lead.
This is so brutal. If Turnout BBs before 10 seconds, look at that. Look at the sniper cam. He wanted to shoot. He was ready to shoot. If you do it at 12 seconds, you almost definitely win that game. That is just a big unforced error. I mentioned you need to do the BB right away, certainly before the flirt. If you do that, I think you win. That is something I think Turnout had to be kicking themselves over because they know. They know you've got to get that BB off before 10 seconds to have a chance.
Yeah. Just didn't happen. And now Turnout8 has found himself in a bit of a hole. Although if you want to try to tie things up, the sniper side is the place to do it. Balcony, however, is not, as Tabsy steps into the spy side of things in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Well, Turnout on sniper on balcony this season, only 1 for 5. That's the thing. And if Tabsies has studied his opponent, he might know that.
Not a good record. But you can't count him out by any means.
Yeah, and most of those are to mission win, by the way. If you finish a nice, clean, simple game here, he's not going to want to shoot because he's not going to have any proof.
Well, this is a very poor start for Tabsies as far as finishing mission goes. 30 seconds with no progress, and now that we're in conversation, we're on the opposite side from the selection target. Opening with contact on a white test.
And the end of red.
Only other person talking was the ambassador. One minute to play, still no flirt progress.
And that's pretty rough. As I mentioned before, I think Turnout only has that one civ shot. You want to complete missions here, and I just don't see how you're gonna at this point.
Yeah, might have to be a bug if he's going for it. I don't see the flirt happening, especially now with under 40 seconds to play and no flirt progress at all.
It's reasonable to expect a shot just because it's balcony, but I think at this point, if you'd looked into the handful of sniper games Turnout has played this season, you realize that's not their highest percentage play. The high percentage play is to get the flirts done and make them shoot for a soft tell.
Indeed it is. Under 20, still no move made from Tabsies.
You're going to have to bug here. There's no other way.
Look at that laser, though. Here we go. The ambassador goes the other way!
Time ad. We were going to where the ambassador
was.
The
goes the other way. It's a red time ad.
Oh, just giving away. Just giving away. I think they went to where the ambassador was standing. Are ambassador footprints a thing? Is that a mission yet? I don't think so. It's going to be another time ad. And I think at this point, if you're Tabsies in particular, you're saying, you got away with what? How many time ads in that previous game? Turnout's on notice about the time ads. Come on. Without even getting into the fact that it's balcony. You cannot allow that to happen. I'll take a clumsy crash bug over that move. This ain't ballroom.
Yeah, I agree. I think he was going for a bug, but forgot that the ambassador was about to start walking again.
Maybe. The passage doesn't make any sense to me. I think what I'm worried about from Tabsies is they're showing a lot of skill in individual moments, but they don't seem to have like a good game plan in the sense that if something goes wrong, it all falls apart.
Yeah.
They say, I'm going to try to do this, and then when it doesn't work out for one reason or another, everything just falls apart. And they just have to make decisions in the moment, and as we've seen, those decisions in the moment have not been good ones. That's something you're going to have to work on, is planning out that game in advance. And frankly, you have to assume things are going to break. You have to assume that your plans are going to go awry. If you want to make snipers laugh, tell them your plans, to borrow an old phrase and augment it just a little bit. You have to assume things are going to fail and have backup plans, plan Bs, plan Cs. And I feel like the problem so far has been that if something doesn't go according to plan for Tabsies, it just doesn't work. And Turnout has punished them for it because a lot of these games felt winnable with just a little audible called.
Yeah, absolutely. He's playing pretty well on the spy side. It's just the improvisation that's not there yet. But it's still been enough to keep things level with Turnout going into Aquarium as Turnout plays Smallman on the spy side, Tabsies on the sniper in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
We say it all the time, improvisation's such a big part of this game. It's good to plan, but it's just as important not to be married to those plans when they go awry, which they
Oh,
always
look at
do.
this. He's hiding the time ads. Did 3 of them and then immediately died.
Okay. I have nothing. I have no analysis for you, unfortunately.
A game has occurred.
Yeah, and it's over. So, he added all that time, and yet the game was about 12 seconds. So.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Okay.
The game didn't even last one time ads worth. Tabsies on the spy side now. Turnout again from behind on the sniper side. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
So we've seen multiple time ads in Ballroom and on Aquarium, and a red time ad in 2 different games, including a balcony game. I think it's time for both of these players to reconsider their time ad strategies.
Yeah, I think so.
Another flirt issue there. Tabsies shaking the camera in anger.
Red test flirts have been plaguing both players all night long.
Yeah, and Tabsies, I'll remind you, does not really have a lead here. They need to get to 9. Turnout needs to get to 8. So that shot, maybe that's one of the reasons Turnout was so brazen with it. He has a game to spare there.
I don't know. You don't generally want to be taking risks like that on such tight margins. Especially if you don't feel like you need it. Might have been able to get away with 1, but certainly not 3. Tabsies now, with its first bit of progress, just under 3 minutes, stepping into the green bookcase with the seduction target and picking up 34% on the flirt.
Flirted before the pickup, but Turnout is zoomed 8 and doesn't seem Turnout 8 is zoomed out rather, and doesn't seem particularly concerned with that sort of thing. Turnout actually, in fact, is spending a lot of time zoomed out, taking a high-level view of the party pretty much as often as they can.
Green transfer behind the shark. Now stepping back into the seduction target, 68% on the flirt, and now green microfilm in pocket. Fake contact coming off, unfortunately in conversation with a suspected double agent.
So you're gonna get credited with a mission you didn't do, and you're gonna let off a few lowlights too. I think Fabsy's leaning pretty heavy into these fakes right now. We're seeing them in almost every game.
4 lowlights off of that, which is not too bad. But usually that kind of lowlightage you want to trade for a mission completion. Minute and 45 to play. No completions yet, but 2 flirts and half a microfilm done. Now stepping in to try to finish it. Again picks up the flirt before the book grab.
Yep, we're meeting at the other bookshelf now. We're meeting at both bookshelves.
Takes out the blue book. No cover available from the shark.
What's interesting about this
all the way to the back window.
They had no choice. The second they turned left at that couch, there's nowhere they can go to read other than that pad. It's kind of a weird little thing where if you make that turn, suddenly you look up and realize, oh, this is literally the only place I can go.
He just time ads. Guys, he doesn't try to read, doesn't try to do a microphone back there, just time ads.
So we're just going to keep doing this, huh?
Now in conversation with the double agent again, the real one this time. There's the contact coming off. Another low light. Another 2.
Oh, we could bug with that non-book hand while that shark was there, but Tabsies hasn't really shown a lot of interest. Doesn't seem to even be eyeing up the ambassador for the most part.
Doesn't even seem to be eyeing up the shark.
Yeah, they're not really playing this like an aquarium game. They're actually playing this game kind of like the shark doesn't exist.
Yeah, it's very weird. That shark can be a huge asset to you.
Yep, and even if you don't act like it's there, Turnout knows it's there, and he knows things could be happening behind it, so you might get some of the benefit anyway.
1 minute to play.
What you can't see is scarier than what you can, and that shark blocks a lot.
That's true. 50 seconds now. Still has to finish that transfer and get 1 more mission. No fingerprint progress, no inspect progress, no double agent available. Now stepping into the blue bookcase.
And what is the idea here? We're putting it here.
There's the transfer coming off just as the shark shows up to lend us a bit of cover. Book has gone away. That's one mission done. 20 seconds to get the next one. It looks like it's going to be a swap.
I think this might be another bad call in the moment here. You got no cover. You could purloin.
Seconds. There it is. Right there on screen. Turnout sees it. Takes the shot. Ties it up.
I think it's just the exact same thing. There were a lot of options at the end of the game. At that point, they were in trouble. Make no mistake. They were going to have to do something a little desperate. But of the options they had, I would have put that 4th or 5th best on the list, is swap at that particular statue. I'm not really sure there. I think these decisions in the moment are just burning them.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of getting sort of freezing up when you're realizing you're low on time and trying to figure out how you're going to finish things, and just not making good decisions about how you're going to finish things.
And honestly, the experience does help in the sense that you really just don't even have to think about those last second desperation moves sometimes, because you've played so many games like that before. That's what I mean when I say that the old timers have a better skill floor, is that they tend to play at least pretty well almost all the time, especially in those moments that they've got over and over again in that muscle memory. And I think we're seeing the difference here tonight. We're seeing Tabsies with maybe as much skill already as Turnout in gold, but the experience may be making the difference. And in a deadlocked set that Turnout will win with an actual tie, that could be what turns it.
Absolutely. And now we step in to Taeyen, the spy's playground. As Turnout8 steps into the spy side of things, Tabsies on the sniper in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
I remember when Library...
Tabsies has been killing it on the sniper side of things lately, but he's going to need to keep that up and find a spy win besides.
Turnout walks to 2 different places and then immediately decides he doesn't want to be in either of them. I do not know what happened there. It was the middle of nowhere, then went to the statues, then said no? I don't know,
Track. I don't know.
Taeyen. You said Taeyen was the spy's playground. I remember when Library was the spy's playground. Seems like spies have a lot of playgrounds now.
Banana bread.
I mean, but the bugs, though.
The bugs and the...
on both maps, really.
And Aquarium is the spy's water park.
I love it.
There we go.
Contact comes off. 1 low light. And it's Smallman.
Yeah, I'm gonna disagree with Dowsey just a little bit and say Smallman is worth a little more than 1 low light. I agree that the fixation on him, it's a little memey. We like to kid about it. But on Taeyen in particular, worth more than 1 normal low light.
Yeah, I agree. On Taeyen, on Gallery, that was an unusual reverse drive-by attempt, but it was free, so why not?
Just Taeyen bugs, man.
And just Taeyen purloins in this case. Completely behind the Shoji.
Yep.
Did get a glance at it. It was coming back through, but does he know who took it?
Honestly, as sick as this sounds, that was actually a pretty good look at the list. We got a look at the list right after it was taken in clear view. That's better than Toby usually gives you.
Tabsies knows exactly who took that list.
Yeah, this is really big. This is really big. You normally don't get a good look that quickly.
The shot comes off for the flirt. Stepped in too quick. Tabsies is on top of things on the sniper side, but the yo-yo contest is not going to turn in his favor. Sooner or later, he's going to have to find a win on the spy side, and this might be his best chance here on Taeyen on the spy side. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
This is at least the 3rd time that I think Tabsies has chosen this character.
Yeah, I think so.
I didn't notice in the early game because it wasn't a thing, but I think they played this character both ballroom games and now in Taeyen.
51% on the flirt to open the game. Goes for a bug at the same time, but the ambassador is too fast and then enters conversation, so we just take an in-convo bug through a person.
As this character in one of those ballroom games, you remember they went 0 for 3 on bug, and then 0 for 4. Finally, ding, 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 it hits. 1 for 5 on the bug with Orange Sorry.
That's not an easy one to mess up. You'd have to wait until he was about to leave before you did it.
Yep, and we're just going to try a timer flirt here, and I think we're just going to behave as if we got away with the bug, which we are pretty certain is true, and maybe just play a clean game otherwise.
Contact comes off. This is looking impossible for Turnout. There's the second flirt up to 85%. This is a huge opportunity for Tabsies.
If they'd hit that green and then go into center statues with 2+ minutes left, that's just so powerful. But they
really
don't.
Is.
And they're going to break it up. And
going to center statues with 2+ minutes anyways, and is just going to grab a talk at the end of it. Gets highlight, but it's probably not going to be enough.
I don't know. I feel pretty good here. I feel like there's a really good chance Tabsies is not going to have to do 3-time ads on Taeyen. Oh my god.
Just be patient here. Don't chase the selection target out to the front window.
They heard you. They heard you through time and space. And now we can stand across from the ST and everything. This is exactly what you need, and this would be a very, very tough shot for Turnout8.
I don't see how Tabsies loses this game. Turnout, this would be... Like, I can't even imagine the shot coming off. It wouldn't make sense.
Nope, it's just straightforward. You get the free Taeyen bug. They know you have center statues, but that's not enough for Turnout. It's just clean and boring. No time ads required. See how much simpler these spy games are without them sometimes? And there, Tabsies finally pulls away. Turnout needs to take these 2 gallery games.
Turnout needs to take both. It's Tabsies who hits 8 first. 2 match points to play with. And he's starting things off on the sniper side in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And this might be the more important one because having to spy for your tournament there, basically, for that chance at gold to stay alive, that's not what you want on gallery. This is the one.
Especially not with Tabsies' record of time management issues.
Yes, particularly acute.
Oh, the green purloin. That could be the game right there. How clean is this? You wind up right next to Toby.
That's terrible.
The drink gets taken. The highlight comes off. Tabsies knows. It's down to 2.
Well, a few more. There's a third one that comes off too. Oh, and bump back down. Sorry, that's so brutal. Was that just a proximity highlight? Did he see? Did he actually see the reject, or was it just you're nearby?
Low lights galore now. 3 highlights, 3 neutral lights. Everyone else is gone. I think Tabsies might have this.
It's hard to say, but here's the thing. When you've got it down to these 3 people, okay, on one hand, it looks bad for the spy. On the other hand, those other people are huge suspects potentially, which means if they help you at all, if they take a bug path, if they go to statues, if they're in for the BB, and you should make sure, you have to have an idea of who you were around at least. You better know at least Orange Sorry is in. If that happens, can Tabsies hold that shot against a spy with Turnout's reputation for completion?
Everyone down to neutral lit. 5 spies available, 5 neutral lights. Now, Orange Sorry and Turnout go to statues, pick up highlights. 2 minutes to play.
I wonder if Turnout is going specifically because the Purloiner went, and he feels like now it's safe. They didn't get shot, so I'm probably not going to get shot for my first inspect. And now maybe I can just wait out and see whether or not they finish and get shot for me.
We're starting the front conversation, Turnout8 in the back. Both conversations with suspected double agent. There's the contact coming off. It's down to 2.
Perfect timing. Perfect timing. They're in different conversations, but both are with an SDA. This could not be going better after that initial mistake, and now it's statue chicken.
Oh, no. Oh. went for the... What? What? Return the guest list and die.
Why? Why? I don't get it. Oh my goodness.
I think he tried to bug. He was trying to bug.
Yep, but I don't think that was going to work either. Tabsies was zoomed in. Again, there's only 2 people left, and they seemed more interested in general. They're watching that ambassador like a hawk. I don't think the bug was going to get it was going to be clean anyway, but it's probably a misclick. The accidental guest list return ends it. Turnout is going to silver, and Tabsies is still alive and could end up as high as gold.
Oh my god.
That's a rough way to go, and this was a set that Turnout felt in control of a couple different times, certainly.
Here's the thing.
That's rough.
What happens if Turnout doesn't go to the back of Aquarium and time add 3 times for no reason?
Yeah, kind of threw that game away a little bit. Even 1, I kind of understand. The aggression, look, we've seen this from Turnout before. They're capable of some really good stuff, and when it works, it's brilliant. But they have trouble turning the aggression off sometimes, and when they did this set, they did a couple times, and they weren't even rewarded for it for whatever reason. So that's probably going to be pretty frustrating there, but that's what Turnout does. Turnout does stuff, and sometimes it works really well. And in this case, it made a couple of those sniper wins for Tabsies far too easy, and in the end, Tabsies might have just outlasted them. But you saw Tabsies throw away so many games too. This was a lot of mistakes in this particular set, but somebody had to come out on top, and it's the challenger who is now knocked off 2 gold players. A third of gold is being relegated now to silver next